Hello. How are you? This is Els coming to you from Bemis Crafty Corner. And today, we're going to do this. Um, we're going to be making some little flowers, little paper flowers. And I'm going to get together all the supplies and give you a complete supply list. And then I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. So we're going to walk through it. And we're going to make us some little flowers today. And we're going to use them. So I'll be right back with a supply list. All right, so what are we going to need for this one? Some punches or dies, some craft foam, or a book or whatever it is you use for poking into, your pokey tool. You want something that has a ball on the end of it, so your scoring tool is really good for this one, or you can use the back end of a paintbrush if that's what you have. You're going to want some of these tiny little brads in assorted colors, or silver, whatever you've got, but the smaller the better. And you're going to want some of this. Now, this is the Deli paper and Parchment papers that Hags has in her kits. And I've been collecting it for a while. And so I have a bunch of different colors. And most of this is unwaxed. This is waxed, but doesn't really matter. We're going to use it either way. And so we're going to be using some of this. And of course, if you're going to be using some dies, you're going to want a die cutter, okay? So that is kind of the basics of the list of things that we're going to need on this one. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of clear some of this stuff out of the way and then be back in just a few moments to show you the process by which we're going to be doing this. So let's start with punches, because that's a pretty easy one to do. And what you're going to do is I cut down some of this paper just so it would make it easier to go into the punch. And I'm just going to put it into my punch. And I'm just going to, punch out some shapes. And I'll move that over there. And then, once I have some shapes, then I can get started kind of putting this together. And for that, I'm going to use my foam. And I'm going to take my pieces and I'm going to lay them down. And what I'm going to do is alternate them, so that the points are at different places. And I can put as many of these as I want in my little stack here. Just making sure that I alternate my points. And then I'm going to take my pokey tool, I'm going to find the middle, and I'm going to press into it. And then I'm going to use one of my little brads here. Take my pokey tool out carefully, and then I'm just going to press my brad in to make my flower. And then lift the whole thing up, open up the brad in the back. And press it down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the ball on the end of my scoring tool. And I'm going to go in little circles. And I'm pressing down on this. And so what I'm doing is I'm curling up the petals. And I just want to make sure that I got everything kind of separated out. And then I have a little flower that I can use to decorate things. So let's do this on a little bit bigger of a scale. And so I have some dyes. And I have some more of my paper. And what I'm looking for is I want paper that's going to fit in to my die cutting machine here. And this stuff's pretty thin, so you can actually cut a couple of pieces at a time. So we're going to do 2 of these. I'm just going to run this through real quick. Cut those out. And then I'm going to use a different color, and I think I'll use the purple. And I'm going to cut this other one out. Now, if you don't have brads, it's okay to glue these together in the center. That's absolutely acceptable. All right, so I've cut these out. Let me get those. Get the dye out of the way. So now I have 2 of the blue, 2 of these little purple ones. And I could even go smaller if I wanted to. I do have smaller dies here. Let's go 1 more. And we'll do this one out of the blue. So what I'm going to do is get what's left of that blue. So I'm going to put the smaller one on there, and I'm going to run that through as well. And I'm just making layers for my flower to make extra petals. All right, and now I have 2 of these. Okay. So now I'm going to do the same process where I'm going to layer them out. Okay, let me get a larger piece of foam here. And all this is several layers of craft foam that I've glued together. So I'm just going to lay, again, making sure that I alternate the leaves. You could cut out whole bunches of these and do them at the same time and just put them in, you know, with your ephemera. And get a little blue one and another little blue one, just like that. Okay, then again, we're going to take the pokey tool and we're going to poke down into the center. Get a brad here. Now, gently hold that. Let me take my brad. Put my brad through the hole. And then I'm going to pick the whole thing up and set my brad in the back here. And then again, I'm just going to take my scoring tool or paintbrush, whichever one I want. I'll use the paintbrush this time. And I'm just going to do little circles, pressing down into the foam. And there is my little flower. Okay, so we're going to use this on a project real quick. I'm going to get this stuff out of the way and I'll be right back. Okay, so we have our flower, and I did decide to cut out a couple of leaves out of some of the other wax that we have. I have some archival ink and a saying. I have some washi tape, corner rounder, my hot glue gun, and some ink. So first thing we're going to do is round some corners. So we're going to build on this base. So I'm going to stamp on this first. Now it's obviously longer than my piece, so I'm just going to put a scrap piece underneath. And then I'm just going to line this up where I want it to be. Put it on and give it some firm pressure. There we go. You can see it went just a little bit over, and that's okay. We'll go ahead and clean that up in a minute. We'll go ahead and get rid of this. And now we're going to be putting this onto here. We won't want it to look too bland. So I've got some ink here. And I'm just going to do a little bit right on the edge here. And this is not a color that I use often, so I don't really want to mess up and have, like, you know, a whole pad dedicated to it, because I don't use it often. So I find that these little eye makeup applicators work pretty good for this. And then I'll just put a little piece of tape on there that tells me what color it is. And I have a whole jar for them. Just going to ink this. Not a whole lot, but you know, I want to put a little color. Okay. All right. I'm happy. All right, we'll close this up. We'll get that out of our way. That out of our way. And then this is going to go right on here. So we'll get some glue. You can use double-sided tape if you want to, glue, whatever, whatever works for you. Sure we got that cleared. There we go. There we go. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back here. And then I'm going to put this where I want it. Press it down. Okay. And And then I want to use a little bit of this washi tape because it picks up the colors. Let me find the end of my washi tape. There it is. And put some here. And then I'm going to put one up here. And then I'm just going to wrap these around the back with a little bit of glue on them. Just like that. And then I'm going to use some double-sided tape here. Alright, and then I'm going to bring in my base, make sure that I've got it going in the right direction. And then I'm going to start releasing my tape. Take that one off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of center this, get it right where I want it to be. Take my tape off, and now I have a good base for my card. I'm going to be using my flower, and so I have my hot glue gun, and I'm going to decide where I want this to be. I think I want it over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little hot glue. I'm going to put my leaves on first. And then, once I have those little stems in there, then I'm going to press my flower on. And there you go. See, we've used our little flower on a project, and then I can write whatever I want inside of this and just put it in an envelope and send this off. And it's a beautiful little handmade card that you can send to a friend, you know, or whatever. Maybe an enemy, who knows. Anyway, that's my idea of a little project for the parchment and wax deli papers. If you try this project and you make one of these little flowers, I'd love to see it. If you want to go ahead and post a picture of that on my Facebook group, I'd really love to see it. If you're new here and you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that red button for me and subscribe. Like me, ring my bell, and share me with all of your friends. And then your friends can be my friends, and my friends can be your friends, and our friends can get to be friends. And before you know it, we have a whole crafting community. Until I see you again, stay safe, guys. Bye-bye.